Leafs Nation. I'm going to be honest with you, reading this made my stomach drop a little. Not because any of this is shocking, but because it feels inevitable. When a team like the Maple Leafs is up against the cap every single year, these conversations always come eventually. And now, looking ahead to the end of the 2025-26 season, the writing is starting to appear on the wall for a few players. This matters because this isn't about a bad week or a rough stretch. This is about roster direction. This is about who fits the future, and who probably doesn't. So today, I want to talk through 3 Leafs players who, realistically, might not be back next season, and why each situation feels harder or easier to accept as a fan. I'm Victor, and before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so we can reach 600 subscribers. If you care about real Leafs conversations, you're in the right place. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with the big picture. The Maple Leafs are heading toward another offseason where cap space is tight, and several players are set to become unrestricted free agents after the 2025-26 season. That means management has to make choices early, because waiting too long usually means losing players for nothing. And when you look at the roster, 3 names stand out as players who are increasingly unlikely to be back. Calle Jarnkrok. This one hurts a little, because it didn't start this way. When Jarnkrok joined the Leafs in 2022, he was a perfect fit. He scored 20 goals and put up 39 points in his first season, played in all situations, and felt like one of those smart, versatile playoff pieces every contender needs. But the last 2 seasons have been a completely different story. Injuries wiped out most of his 2024-25 campaign. And this season, he's been passed on the depth chart. Scott Laughton, Dakota Joshua, Easton Cowan, Steven Lorentz, even Nick Robertson. All of them have jumped ahead of him. So far this year, Jarnkrok has 6 goals in 29 games, and he's been a frequent healthy scratch. That's not a great sign for a player approaching free agency. There were even rumors earlier this season about him returning to Sweden for 2026-27. Those were denied by his agent, but when those rumors start, it usually means something. As a fan, this feels like a slow fade out. Not dramatic, just quiet. Matt Benning. This one is much more straightforward. Benning came to Toronto as part of the Timothy Liljegren trade with San Jose back in October 2024. And from the start, he was viewed as depth, nothing more. That's exactly how it's played out. The 31-year-old defenseman has spent most of his time with the Toronto Marlies, where he put up 18 points in 55 games. Solid AHL production, but not someone who forced the Leafs' hand at the NHL level. He finally got into a game with the Leafs on January 3rd against the Islanders, playing just over 12 minutes, blocking 3 shots. And since then, nothing. He hasn't cracked the regular rotation, he hasn't carved out a role. And with free agency coming, it's hard to see any scenario where Toronto brings him back. As a fan, this one doesn't sting. It feels like a short-term depth move that ran its course. Bobby McMann. Now this is the complicated one, because Bobby McMann has actually been really good this season. Through 47 games, he's put up 15 goals, 10 assists, 25 points. That puts him on pace for 26 goals and 43 points, which would smash his previous career highs. He's been physical, direct, and effective, exactly the kind of player Leafs fans always ask for. So why would he be gone? Because of the cap. McMann is currently making $1.35 million AAV, and with the season he's having, that number is going way up. And Toronto is already tight against the cap with their core locked in. Yes, reports say the Leafs have started preliminary extension talks, but around the league, players who break out like this usually get paid, and sometimes more than Toronto can afford. As a fan, this is the one that feels unfair. You finally get a guy who figures it out, who brings energy and production, and the business side might push him out the door. So what does all this mean for the Leafs? It means this roster is approaching another crossroads. Jarnkrok feels like a role that's already been replaced. Benning feels like a depth experiment that's over. McMann feels like the painful consequence of success. This isn't about failure, it's about reality in a cap league. And the Leafs' next step depends on whether they can keep the right complementary pieces without squeezing themselves into another corner. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these players would you be okay moving on from? And which one would you fight to keep, no matter what? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read all of them. I'm Victor, and as always, let's see where this season really takes us.